In the debut of Dorian Finney-Smith and Shake Milton, the Lakers lost to the Cleveland Cavaliers. But in this video, I'm going to explain to you why that not only was a good thing, but that was likely the best case scenario for the Lakers. Let's talk about it. Before we get started, if you guys can do me a huge favor and drop a like on the video and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any future Lakers, NBA, and other sports content. Before we dive in, I would like to mention a couple things. First and foremost, I would like to wish each and every one of you a very happy new year. The amount of growth and support that you guys have brought to this channel is absolutely amazing, and I cannot thank you enough. And trust me, I have a lot planned for 2025, so it's only going to get better. So happy New Year's, and I wish you all a very healthy and prosperous 2025. Now, the second thing, my last video, I was so excited and so shocked that we actually made a trade that I feel like I didn't give D'Angelo Russell a proper send-off. D'Angelo Russell has had a lot of ups and downs with the Lakers. There were times where I was the only one defending D'Angelo Russell, and there were times where I was highly critical of D'Angelo Russell. But there are some things that you just cannot deny. He is a very talented basketball player. He is a very exciting basketball player. And any amount of success that we achieved during his second stint with the Lakers, we wouldn't have been able to get there without him. Ultimately, I just think that for this Lakers team, for where they want to go and where they're trying to get to, D'Lo was just no longer a good fit. So I truly mean this when I say it. D'Lo, I wish you all the best, man. All right, let's dive into the video. So the Lakers lost to the Cleveland Cavaliers 122-110. And like I mentioned before, as frustrating as it is when Lakers lose, I mean, you know, Lakers fans, they get frustrated. I say they because I am also a Lakers fan, but I like to think of myself as a little bit more level-headed, which is why I'm able to make a video like this showing the good side of this loss. But anyway, like I mentioned before, this loss to the Cavaliers was the best case scenario, and I'm going to explain why. Before this game, the Lakers had won 3 in a row and 5 of our last 6 games, I believe. But this was the first time in a little while where we actually went up against a contender, a legit contender. I mean, one of the best teams in the NBA, bar none. And the way the trade market has gone and how Rob Pelinka has operated, we heard him talk about how the Lakers are going to continue to monitor the market for trades, but they want to evaluate the current team as is. What better way to evaluate after acquiring 2 new assets and going up against arguably the best team in the league? And what the Cavaliers did for us was show us exactly what Rob Pelinka needed to see. And that's the holes in our lineup and what we actually need to compete for a championship. If we beat the Cleveland Cavaliers, there's always that gray area. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, okay, well, do we even have to make another trade? Are we legit contenders? Are we where we need to be? And the truth is, we're not. And this game exposed that exactly for what it is. We can beat decent teams. We can beat bad teams because we, as currently constructed, are not a bad team. We're an okay team. But that's not the goal. The goal is to become a contender. So in order to be the best, you got to beat the best. So, all right, let's get into some of the stats. Bear in mind, we lost to the Cavs by 12 points. That's a pretty decent margin, but we didn't get blown out the water. You know what I mean? We shot 44% from the field as a team, 26% from 3, which is atrocious, and 90% basically from the free throw line, so that's good. So basically, if you watch the game, we were in that game through the most part. In the second half, the Cavs kind of went on a run. We climbed back into it. We went on our run, but ultimately the Cavs just had a last and final run that we couldn't compete with. But if you think about it, we lost by 12 points, and we had a horrible shooting night as a team. That's a very positive takeaway, in my opinion. I mean, look at Austin Reeves. All right, hold up. We got to have a conversation about Austin Reeves. Maybe I'll make this in a separate video, but this man has been on a tear for the past few games. I think now that D'Angelo Russell's gone, obviously Austin Reeves has more responsibility as a primary ball handler. But, man, I don't care how you cut it. This man almost had a 35-point triple-double, not only against the Cavs, which is a really good team, but against one of the best backcourts in the NBA with Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell. You can't just sweep that under the rug. I know some of you like to hate on Austin Reeves and that you think they need to trade him or he doesn't handle the ball well enough, yada, yada, yada. But This man just dropped 35 points, 10 assists, 9 rebounds, shot 12 of 13 from the free throw line, 11 of 20 from the field, 1 of 4 from 3. So he didn't have a great shooting night from 3. But again, a 35-point triple-double against one of the best backcourts in the league. Listen, man, I sent out a tweet last night. And by the way, if you guys haven't had a chance to follow me on my other socials, please do so. My link tree is in the description. But man, AR might be turning a corner. I don't know how else to explain it. I mean, we'll see. We'll continue to monitor him, but you cannot deny his gameplay. Whether you like him or not, this man he stepped up big time. So you got to give him his flowers. LeBron had a decent game last night. He finished with 23 points, 7 assists, 4 rebounds, shot 2 of 2 from the free throw line, 3 of 6 from 3, so 50% from 3-point, which we love to see. 9 of 17 from the field. So typical LeBron game, not super high scoring, but overall efficient. Anthony Davis was kind of weird because if you look at his numbers, he had 28 points, 13 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals, 2 blocks. He shot 2 of 4 from 3 and 12 of 23 from the field. So it was an efficient game, fairly high scoring game. He grabbed a lot of rebounds. I mean, he did his thing. He really did. But do you guys hear what I'm saying? If you actually watched the game last night, it was apparent that the size and athleticism and mobility of Jared Allen and Evan Mobley was very apparent, and it felt like Anthony Davis was down there by himself. And it kind of screamed what we need, which is a legit backup big. Not only to back up Anthony Davis, but to play alongside him. But we'll get to that a little bit later in the video. So to sum up the game against the Cavs, we got pretty good play from our 3 best players, which is Austin Reeves, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis. It was the supporting cast that kind of came up short. And I was really disappointed with Rui Hachimura. Max Christie didn't have a great shooting night, but when you get offense from Max Christie, it's kind of like a bonus. You put him out there because you want him to have that defensive presence, that athleticism. You want him to put pressure on the backcourt, etc. But Rui Hachimura, again, this man is making damn near $18 million a year. He has to produce. He has to. And listen, Rui Hachimura has been playing well as of late. And he had a pretty good month of December. But if you look at his overall track record with the Lakers, it's very similar to D'Lo. Up, down, up, down, up, down. It's like good game, bad game, good game, bad game, a stretch of bad games, a stretch of good games. It's inconsistent. And you guys know I do not like inconsistency. I'm not a fan of it whatsoever. So even though a player like Rui, who has played fairly well recently, I'm going to come down on him because he has been inconsistent overall. And I do not believe that can be a part of the formula of a championship level team, which leads me to my next point, which is what probably a lot of you want to hear. And that's what's next for the Lakers. What's the next move? What's the missing piece to get the Lakers over the hump to becoming a championship contender? And for starters, I got to say it. I think we got to trade Rui Hachimura. We need a legit backup big, and we need a dynamic 2-guard. That's, in my opinion, that is what will elevate the Lakers into one of the most dangerous teams in the NBA. And there's no way we can get a backup center and a dynamic 2-guard without trading Rui Hachimura. Now, before we get into some realistic trade options, I need you guys to just hear me out, okay? Just bear with me. I know you're probably sick and tired of hearing me talk about Zach LaVine, but just look at this real quick. Look at this starting 5. I tweeted about this last night, by the way. Look at this starting 5. Let me know in the comment section right now. Tell me this isn't a top 3 starting 5 in the NBA. And if you don't think so, please let me know in the comments why not. Because I would love to hear it, and I'd love to have that conversation with you guys. Man, without D'Lo's contract, getting Zach LaVine is damn near impossible. It is possible, but it is highly, highly, highly improbable. But I just had to throw it out there. I had to do it. Anyway, let's go into some more realistic trade options. The best case scenario for the Lakers in terms of a legit center is Walker Kessler. And you guys have heard me talk about this before, but this is actually a realistic option. I think the holdup is the 2 first-round picks. The Utah Jazz are not going to give up Walker Kessler without getting 2 first-round picks. Now, so I've heard some pretty good arguments from some of you that as to why you wouldn't give up 2 first-round picks for Walker Kessler, and I get that. And the biggest concern that you guys have brought up is, you're not going to basically leverage your future for a center that's not going to start right away. Because right now, Anthony Davis is playing the 5 and LeBron James is not coming off the bench, right? And he's playing the 4. But I disagree with that. I think Walker Kessler is worth 2 first-round picks. He's only 23 years old. And he's going to be part of a winning situation. The Utah Jazz, they're not going anywhere. That's why they're basically trying to rebuild. But with the Lakers, it's very different. If he comes over to the Lakers, there's a good chance he's competing for a championship. And I think that would change his framework a little bit, because we've heard him express his frustration with the Jazz and how he wasn't starting. But with the Lakers, it's different. If he's going to the Lakers, like, whoa, okay, I may not be starting, but I'm not starting behind Anthony Davis. That's different altogether. And LeBron James, right? And just because somebody doesn't start doesn't mean they're not going to play a lot of minutes. That's what I think people aren't really getting. We want a legit backup center to back up Anthony Davis, but to also play alongside him. We want that flexibility to have 2 really good bigs to play at the same time. But we can also start Anthony Davis and LeBron James for a lot of the matchups. And some of the matchups, last night, for example, against the Cavaliers, you have Jared Allen and Evan Mobley. I think that would have been a great matchup to start Walker Kessler and then move LeBron James to the 3. So it's about having flexibility at the center position, not necessarily always starting a center and then always starting AD at the 4. Besides, post LeBron James, when he retires, that's likely what's exactly going to happen. You're going to start Walker Kessler at the 5 and and Anthony Davis at the 4, which LeBron's going to play maybe another year, maybe 2 tops, which is not a lot of time, especially for Walker Kessler is competing for a championship and he's just getting a lot of minutes to begin with. So that's my counter argument to that. That's why I believe he's worth 2 first-round picks. I think right now it's pretty tough, but I think right now if I had to choose between what's most important for the Lakers, whether it's a backup big or dynamic 2 guard, I think I'd probably go with the backup big. To be honest, I've gone back and forth on this. And what I can do for you guys, if you want, let me know in the comment section. I can do just a separate video of just a complete in-depth breakdown of the different trade options that the Lakers can make with what's available in the trade market. And I mean, like, the exact salaries, the exact players. I'll just do a deep dive into what the Lakers can go after. If you guys want me to make that video, let me know in the comment section, okay? But otherwise, those are my thoughts. I think losing to the Cavaliers was the best case scenario. And let me know in the comments if you agree. How'd you feel about the game? How'd you feel about DFS and Shake Milton, their debut? Do you think these guys can really add to the Lakers? Just let me know what you think in the comments. Again, guys, Happy New Year to every last one of you. I wish you nothing but health and prosperity in 2025. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for watching the video. Go ahead and drop a like, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.